and I want to ask the question, did anyone read Dak Prescott his Miranda rights? Yeah, where the hell are Lenny Briscoe and Ed Green from Law and Order? This house party controversy for Dak Prescott is turning into Dak in disorder, and I don't think Dak knows that he has the right to remain silent, and anything he says can and will be used against him in the court of public opinion. All right, so let me get you up to speed on what's happened here. So TMZ reported that Dak and Zeke Elliott threw a birthday bash for a mutual friend at Dak's crib. TMZ has some video of the festivities, and according to their sources, Dak violated every social distancing rule that we have established for the coronavirus. According to TMZ, as many as 30 people were partying with Dak and Zeke at Dak's house. Look, some people are upset. They're irate. Former Cowboy and current ESPN talking head Marcus Spears blasted Dak for having the party. On this very show, right here on Speak for Yourself, we had a discussion about whether or not Dak is becoming a bad boy because his contract negotiations aren't going very well with the Jones brothers, or Jerry Jones and his son Stephen Jones. But yesterday, this is where I think Dak really screwed up. He issued a statement addressing the TMZ report and the whole house party controversy. Let me read from the statement. I understand and accept that there are additional responsibilities and media scrutiny that come with being an NFL quarterback. But it is very frustrating and disappointing when people provide completely inaccurate information from anonymous sources, especially now. To set the record straight, I know that we all need to do our best to socially distance like everyone else. I am continuing to adjust to what that requires, but the truth is that I was with fewer than 10 people for a home dinner, not a party on Friday night. Dak, I'm sorry, bro. You done messed up here. You have the right to remain silent. You don't go to war with a man like Harvey Levin and TMZ. You know what you've done? Yeah. Okay, so what? TMZ screwed up and showed a picture of the restaurant dinner table and claimed it was a party. It was your dinner table at your house. So who cares? They got video. They have the video of all that food and Becky with the good hair. Look at all them French fries. You feeding more than 10 people, man. Don't tell that lie. By challenging Harvey Levin, you have made Harvey and his crew put on their Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson outfit. They coming for you, Dak. They coming for you, Dak. You done messed up the game. You set off a war. At times like this, you keep your mouth shut. You keep your head down. You let your lawyers and your agents do all the talking. You just lay in the cut. This is a bad look. This is a bad look for everybody associated with the Cowboys. Who's raising Dak in Dallas? Where are the OGs with the Cowboys that are showing Dak how to handle this? I blame Michael Irvin. I blame Deion Sanders. I blame Emmitt Smith. Hell, I even blame Nate Newton. Why aren't these OGs properly schooling Dak on how to handle this? There's two things I know a little something about. Food and Becky's. Dak's story don't add up. Nah, man. There's too much food for 10 people. I've been to these parties. I've thrown these parties. That's way too much food for 10 people. Let me tell you what the key telltale on all this is, though. It's the broccoli. Did y'all see the broccoli? They went past it real quick. The broccoli tells you that this little young blonde lady, she wasn't traveling alone. She had friends with her. That's who was eating the broccoli. I'm not buying the story. Dak, you've messed up. Harvey Levin, TMZ, they coming for you. They're going to have all the details on this party. I'm not buying it. Marcellus, help me out here or tell me I'm crazy. Are you buying Dak's story, fewer than 10 people or do you buy TMZ that he threw a full-blown party at his house?
Whitlock, we all have thrown parties, and I have this impulse, this instinct that when I throw a party, I'm going to always overdo it. The worst thing I could ever hear at my party is someone saying, "Oh, you don't have that?" And that's how I prepare for a party. So I'm going to overdo it. And put yourself in Dak's shoes. If you're in your 20s, a football player, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, not only are you going to overdo it, but there's no negative consequence. Guess what? All of this is going to be leftovers. That's going to be good for me. I ain't leaving the crib that much. I'm catering it, and these going to be some bomb leftovers. I think TMZ got this one wrong. One, TMZ, the way that they play it out is they do their research. They do their investigation, and they look for either the most sensational, salacious, whatever can indict the person and convict them first and foremost. And this is the best attempt they could come up with, which is a sped-up video over some platters, and then a picture of only 5 people. But then you see a dinner setting with 10 people. If you can't prove to me with, video, with an actual picture that there are more than 10 people there, I'm going to trust the guy who actually threw the damn party. Not a gathering, a party. And it was Dak, and I believe that.
Y'all got this whole thing twisted up. The Law and Order deal, the Dak and him having leftovers. Y'all got this all messed up. Let me make this clear for y'all. It is Ezekiel Elliott, a.k.a. Blade Brown. This whole thing made me think about Class Act, not Law and Order, all right? Dak Prescott is one, a.k.a. Duncan Penderhughes. He's the school nerd, all right? They used Dak's house, all right? But Blade Brown brought Becky, all right? Y'all got to make sure y'all clear on this. It is not Dak Prescott messing up. It was merely his home, and that would be an accurate story of how Blade Brown is getting down during the pandemic. So y'all are all off. You got to pay attention to the real issue. It's Blade Brown, Zeke Elliott.
You making my point, LaVar, because this is what I believe. I do believe Dak had dinner with 7, 8, 9 people. But I would imagine Dak lives in a big enough house where additional people could be someplace else socializing. And so, to me, if there's less than 10 people at your house, you don't say fewer than 10 people. You say there was 8 people at my house, here's their names, blah, 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 blah. This story's BS. But less than fewer people I had dinner with, I think he can be honest and say, that's who I had dinner with. But TMZ, to get Marcel, my thoughts, I watched TMZ's report. They had 2 different people say their sources told them that up to 30 people eventually came through Dak's house. Why would the police call if it was just 7 or 8 people? Somebody in the neighborhood certainly seemed to think it was a bigger deal than just a regular random dinner party. No?
No. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, TMZ, the way that they get their unidentified sources is they pay. And if you're incentivized to tell the story and exaggerate, you're going to exaggerate. Show me the picture. I don't want to hear there were 30 people. You try to tell me you took a picture of a dog and some platters of French fries and broccoli? Yeah, right. And TMZ has gotten it wrong before, even though they bat 99% in terms of accuracy, they have gotten it wrong before. This is a situation where you don't identify the number of people there if you're Dak. You know why? Because he actually has a guilty conscience. Not for this event, not for this particular moment, but he knows that, all right, I violated social distance rules. I've taken pictures hugging other athletes in workouts. So he's sitting there now being convicted of something he didn't do, but in the spirit of what was being done, he's done that and violated that before. So that's why he's not getting particular with details. He got a guilty conscience. But let me tell you one more thing in short, a story. When I was a neighbor in San Diego of some old people in my community, and it seemed like every other day they were calling the police on me. And I was having gatherings, 3 people, 5 people, 7 people over. Police always at the door talking about it. And you know what I figured out? It wasn't racial. It was ageism. Them old people are so pissed off that a 25-year-old is living next door to them where they had to work their whole life, and at age 60, they were able to buy the same house he could buy on his first contract. So don't give me this whole, why would the police be called if there were only 8 people there? They do it all the time.
I've been a part of that as well, Marcellus Wiley. That is one amazing point. Another point that I'll add to that great point, by the way, how many photos were released of Dak Prescott, Duncan Pinder use in these releases, right? Who was in the pictures? Who was in the pictures? Blade Brown. Blade Brown in the pictures, right? Them pictures show Blade Brown. Blade Brown brought the party. Whoever was there, it was Blade Brown.
Zeke, by the way.
He is running. He is running the house party ring. It's going to end up being at somebody else's house, right? Because he is the ringleader of this. All right. Look at him in the background. Look at that devious look on. You can't even really see it.
LaVar, let me ask you this.
Tell.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, LaVar, because you're leaving the door cracked. Do you believe there were more than 10 people at Dak's house Friday night?
I believe if there were more than 10 people there, it was not because of Duncan Pinder use. It was not on him. So if he said it was less than 10 people, wherever he was at in the house, you best believe there was less than 10 people where Dak Prescott was in that house.
Marcellus, let me ask you this. Why did Stephen Jones reach out to Dak and basically tell him, get in line here? If there were less than 10 people, do you think the Cowboys would have reached out and somewhat scolded Dak?
Well, one, I wasn't on that phone call. Reaching out doesn't mean I scolded you. I want to hear your side of the story because these reports are painting you in a negative light. And last time we checked, you've never done anything wrong in terms of being a Dallas Cowboy and the leader of this franchise, face of the franchise. And let me educate people on the rules for being a face of a franchise. It's not just if you've done something wrong. It's also that nothing can be said and reported or suggested that you did something wrong. You're in uncharted territory when you're talking about a 4th rounder named Dak Prescott now being the face of the franchise in terms of responsibility. So I think Steven just wanted to say, look, I'm not trying to convict you, brother. I just want to know, why is this story having so much legs and people conversating about it when you didn't do anything? You need to set the record straight. Immediately, Dak comes out and tries to set the record straight. But you know how we roll. We don't want to take that as an honest assessment. So I just think that Dak had to answer to his boss, but at the same time, doesn't mean that he did anything wrong.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.